Hello, this is Brother Timothy Earl Hoskins from the Lord's House of Prayer in Jackson, Tennessee, and coming to you with my next video. I uploaded one a few weeks ago about about competing and stuff, and uh, I just don't compete with things of this world. I don't think Christian people ought to. We should try to do what's right and allow God to move in those situations, and everything will work out like it's supposed to. Then I put one up here a few nights ago that was an older one that I'd actually put up when I first started doing this. Actually, when I did have was a small church in Milan. Of course, that got too expensive to keep up myself, and then I'd lost my job, and I had to just come to put stuff on the internet, which is always better. And if you look for what God has in things, usually there's something good in it, even if it doesn't work out, or even if it's something that it causes you problems. And I've had a bad I've had about a bad week, maybe a little less than a week. A lot of frustrations come out, and a lot of stuff that I handled better than I have in the past, but I didn't handle it as well as I should have. And I apologize to individual that I shouldn't have acted like I did to, and I asked God to forgive me for for that. And so seems like you can do everything right for 360 days a year, but the 5 days you don't. That's what is everybody remembers. But it's just a lot of frustrations, and a lot of it I'm pretty sure I'm in are feeling right about, but I just didn't express it the right way. And I don't get into telling people personal details about myself. I've had issues with that before, and I'm just not going to do that again, because it seems to get used against you, and you got to be careful when you do that as well. But so I wanted to say that to kind of get that off my chest and to let you know that even people that are called by God to do certain things have bad days and do things they shouldn't do. I won't say I shouldn't have did it. I just didn't handle it the right way. And because we're imperfect, and like I said, I asked God to forgive me for that. And I've apologized to the individual that I should have apologized to for that. And but I want to go on with what I was talking about, like allowing God to move, putting God first, and doing things in the right way, and not competing with the world. Because if you do, if you're trying to do something the right way, and you're gonna, and people in the world do whatever it takes to win, you're probably not going to. If you're competing that way, you're probably not going to ever win. And again, when I was younger, that used to really cause me a lot of problems. Now I understand it a little better as I've gotten older, and God has, I've accepted Christ into my heart, and I know the things that go on. And so you got to be really careful with stuff like that. And like I said, I loaded another one up that was willful and presumptuous sins, I believe, was the one, and that's about 7 years ago that I put that up originally. And I related to this. If you want to go back and watch that video, you can. I think there's events that happen that are mistakes. People make them. I made them. I made some in the past 5 days. People make them. I make them all. I make them. You make them. Everybody makes them. And there's things that people do intentionally. And I think that's a big problem. I think people that keep doing something intentionally wrong or hurtful, they got something, in them that's not right. Um, but one thing I wanted to try to get all that out of the way first. What I want to talk about today, and I just got two scriptures on this, and it seems like everything works out. And I listened to a preacher from Louisiana by the name of Tom Carey. He's a good man, and I was reading in Deuteronomy today and this morning, and I've been reading and taking notes and going through the Bible again. Well, I stopped reading at a certain point, and I was watching one of his videos, and he was talking about the exact same thing that I was reading. So something like that, you can't really ignore. There's no way I could have known to put that exact video in and stop at that exact time and then him be talking about the same exact thing I was reading. And I wanted to get off to say this, and I want to start off in Proverbs, and the scripture, one scripture he's talking about was in Deuteronomy, and I'll get to that one, but in Proverbs is where I want to start, 22:7. It says, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." And I thought about this because actually the other scripture kind of led me to this one. But the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Now, if you go back and just look at the world and the way things are, is the elitist people in this country and in this world, they want to rule everybody. They want to tell you how to act, how to think, how to live, how you are to worship, where you are to sleep, everything, what you ought to eat. And they want to tell you everything. And one way they have of controlling people is through debt. And they get you, so well, you got to have a brand new car, so you go out and buy this car. You got to have a brand new house, so you go out and buy a house. You got to have that because everybody else has got it. And before you know it, you're in a lot of debt. And then then you don't have any freedom to do what you want to do. Maybe you stay in a job that you don't like. Maybe you are working 3 jobs, Maybe you're having to do stuff that you don't like to have all these material possessions and all this, but it's because of all this debt that you've got into. And again, it's competition. It's competition. Somebody else has got a new car, so you got to go out and get one better. I mean, it's a worldly cycle. But the only people that rule in this and they control you are the rich people, the banks, because you have the debt, the credit cards, because you have the debt. So they can control you through that, and they actually make you a servant or a slave. And a lot of people don't understand that, but it is. If you have everything you have paid for, and you're able to go out and work and do at your job and work 40 hours and come home, and you have your freedom to make whatever decision you want to make. If you're in so much debt, and I've been this way in the past, where you've got to work two or three jobs, you don't really have the freedom to make the decisions that you want to do what you want to do. And I want to go to into Deuteronomy 28:43 and 44, and this is the one that he was actually hitting on, and it was actually exactly the same thing that I quit reading on when I started watching this video. And it says, "The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail." So there again, it's saying that whoever's lending out the money is going to be in control of the situation. And even if you're doing what's right, they can control you and make you accept something that may be wrong, or make you do something you don't agree with, because they got you in all this debt, and you don't have the freedom to say, "No, I can't do that," or you're afraid to say that because you might lose your job, or you might, and if you do that, then you're going to lose your house, your car, your swimming pool, whatever you've got. Just to give an experience that I've had, when I worked at Maytag here in Jackson, I'd been there, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. I don't really know how long I was there. I started off as a temp, so I wasn't really in Maytag the whole time. I was through the temp agency for a time. But 2008 was when they closed, and I was within 1 year of working there, and I was actually doing a paper route too, because I had some debt and I was trying to work it out, and I was within 1 year of having everything I have paid off, and I've got a Mustang, and I was going to fix getting that fixed like I wanted it. I can get it fixed now, but I want to repaint it and do a lot of other stuff to it. And then after the election in 2008, they shut the plant down. And so I had 401ks. I spent all that paying house payments and everything. And of course, I didn't have any income. I went back to school, and I ended up in the job that I'm at now. It's took me, since 2008, it took me to this year. So it's been 9.5 years, I guess, almost 10, to get to making the same money I was making before at Maytag. And now, next month, I pay my home off. And after that, I've got a few little things I can pay off. It's not going to be that big a deal, but I'm within, the end of the year, a few months, having everything paid off except for just a little stuff that I'm just going to allow to stay on so I can keep my credit score up. But I'll have the money to pay it off if I have to. So something can happen like that, and if you're in a lot of debt, that can just take you, just knock you down. But one thing I've learned is that if something like that happens, you have to start over. You never start at zero. You start at where you were at. You don't go all the way back to zero. It just takes time to do that. And I had to change my time schedule and all that. But again, I had to work 2 and 3 jobs to get back to where I'm at now. Where now I'm just working to one. But in a few months, I'm going to have the freedom where everything's paid off, and I'll be able to do what I want to do. So you got to watch the competition, trying to get into this and do things. And the same way. I wanted this, I wanted that, I wanted to do better than this. So I spent money. I lost a job. I lost another job. It just kind of built up, and you don't have the freedom to do what you want to do. You can't make the choices that you sometimes you want to make, because you got to do what you have to do. And sometimes that's not the right thing. It's the right thing to do. But what I'm talking about in this is get out of debt. Pay off everything you have. Get out of debt. Work at your job. And then you can have your freedom to make whatever decision you want. If you want to go here and do this, you can do that. If you want to take your family on this vacation, you can. You don't spend money that you don't have. Because if you get yourself in debt, then the people with the money are the ones that's going to control what you do. They're going to control what you think. They could even make you accept something that's wrong, because they do control the money part of it. And they do that a lot. You see it. You can just see it on everything right now. People pulling out of the NRA, or people saying, we're not going to buy this product unless you accept this. But they can do it to you as an individual person, people that control things. So just remember this: the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Get out of debt. Pay your stuff off. If you have to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs, do it. I want to thank you for listening to my video and watching my video. I thank you for everything you're doing. Please pray for me as I pray for you. Pray for our leaders and our government and our churches. Pray for the nation of Israel. And I thank you, and God bless.